Good evening, everyone. Good evening, all.
Good evening, all of you.
Great. We can see a lot of people have actually joined in. So I'll take this opportunity to welcome each and everyone who's joining in today on behalf of the entire Mindler team. It's my pleasure. I am Sara Rizvi to host you all today. And here we have a brilliant panel with us for today's panel discussion on the topic, how are universities helping students for new age career choices? Without taking much time, I'll be beginning with Mr. Sudhakar Rao. Mr. Sudhakar studied mechanical engineering at graduate level and went to IIM Bangalore for postgraduate program in management. He has recently completed a specialized program on design thinking from MIT Sloan School of Management. Mr. Rao started his career as brand manager and moved up as SBU head and director. In a career spanning over 20 years, he played multiple roles of branding, marketing, corporate relations, international operations, and more. Over the last 2 decades of fast track work life, he dealt with sectors like textiles, food, and education, where he not only launched many brands, but also nurtured them towards their rightful position in the marketplace. Mr. Sudhakar is a keynote speaker at various national and international fora. He's also the chairperson for education at FICCI. He has been an accomplished brand strategist, a startup mentor, and a social media advisor. At ICFAI, Mr. Sudhakar heads branding for the entire group that includes 11 ICFAI universities, 9 ICFAI business schools, 7 tech schools, 7 law schools, and a huge distance learning program. We welcome you to the panel discussion, Mr. Sudhakar.
Thank you very much.
I am glad to host all of you here. Thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am, for joining in, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Good evening, everybody, and good evening to a very august panel. I am very excited to be talking to such distinguished people and who have achieved so much. And I think your input in terms of what you will be able to tell our panel, our attendees today in terms of their journey when it comes to how they're going forward with looking at dealing with students, working with students, and what is important for them as career coaches to keep in mind is going to be an important input that they get. We talk about new age a great deal. New age is a buzzword. Everything is new age these days if we're looking at things. And if we don't understand something, we end up saying it's new age. So it's a really great catch-all that helps us be able to get out of situations as well. So if somebody asks me if I know something about a particular career or another area, I'm able to snake out of it by saying, that's really new age. So I'm going to have to find out about it. But yeah, so really great catch-all, which also therefore makes it an area that is highly shrouded in confusion, and also an area that ends up becoming actually in a really exciting way open to a lot of interpretation and open to being a lot of application from that measure as well. So I do want to be able to try and build some sort of structure through our conversations around that today and be able to help people understand one, the fact that we're seeing with the NEP a massive change that's taking place at the scholastic level and at the university level in terms of what learning means. There was a particular way in which we studied. You went in, you studied, picked a stream, you got into a particular race, you did your 3 years, and you got out, and then you went across and you picked another specialization, and it was a very specialist-driven world. I would dare say that it's much more of a generalist-driven world now. I may be wrong, but that's my take, and I would love to be able to hear on that as well. As a result, with the NEP, with its hopeful implementation across the board, as well as what we are demanding from students when they step into the working world, as well as what the world needs right now, it's really nice to be able to see the number of options the students have now in terms of what they can study and how they can do those permutations and combinations. So I want to be able to kind of start off by being able to have people understand when we are looking at this changing environment, when we're looking at this really changing landscape of careers, how are institutes modifying and updating their courses and curriculums to prepare students? That's the first part of my question, right? The second part of my question is also, what are some of the courses or areas of study that your institutes are offering students that are going to fit into this new age bracket, as well as kind of sort of prepare them for what might be coming their way? So I would want to be able to start this discussion off, and I'll as I'd mentioned earlier, I'll ask the questions. I'd like each one of you to be able to weigh in from your perspective. Then I'd like to go to Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao, please tell me about your institute, about what ICFA is doing, about getting students ready for New Age, and what kind of courses that are available. So please do share.
Very good evening to all of you, and very happy to be part of this very distinguished panel among learned friends who are around the screen. This is a very big topic, and we really don't have a roadmap as to how do we approach this particular topic. In as much as the moderator is honest about not having a roadmap, in reality also we don't have a roadmap actually to deal with New Age courses and New Age crisis. I will try and be simple without using any jargon. Try and understand what I can contribute to this discussion. Okay, so New Age careers, apart from the buzzwords and all, for the benefit of all the members who are attending, I think there's a large number of people who are attending. They could be students, they could be coaches, and they could be people from school ecosystem as well as higher education ecosystem, given the fact that most of us represent all these domains. Now, in simple language, there are new careers that are emerging which were not there hitherto, which were not there in the recent past. And this emergence is a constant phenomenon, and it is going to happen at greater frequency, in the sense that the changes in careers and new careers themselves will crop up faster than we can imagine. Probably those are the areas of careers and the choices that we have to make is something that we need to watch out for. So what was not already there in the recent past is now coming up, and therefore there is New Age. But New Age itself is going to be the next stage, in the sense that every time you sit down and have a panel discussion like this, there'll be something new coming up. Yes. So therefore it is constant. Now, I have learned a great deal from Dr. Bharucha, and his statements are very, very good, actually. Just to add and probably simplify is that what are the New Age careers require us to do, and what are the New Age careers themselves? I mean, for some of us and most of us to relate what are the New Age careers, let me take some names so that we begin there at least. App developer is a New Age career. Social media manager is a New Age career. As I look around and talk to various organizations, they are frantically looking to recruit social media managers or digital marketing people, SEO experts, so on and so forth. Data analysts are greater in demand. User experience designers are in greater design. Cryptocurrency, it's understanding applications, how to deal with that on platforms like blockchain. People who can understand non-fungible tokens, gene building and sequencing. Gene sequencing is a very big emerging area. Artificial intelligence and neural networks. Yeah, I would like to, when Dr. Bharucha was speaking, he was commenting on the examination formats, and it is a commentary on the human intelligence or the natural intelligence to be able to draw out endless predictive analytics on the question paper format.
True.
we do that all the time. I think our guys are extremely interesting, they're intelligent, and they can beat any formats and templates. So the best of the exams are those exams which are application oriented, which are not available at a simple Google search. As simple as that. Then you don't have to have invigilation. You don't have to have all those technically complicated, complex proctoring when you do online examinations. If the question itself is good, I think probably we avoid spending on useless technologies. If the question is something where answer can be copied, you will always have to worry till the end of the examination and even at the end of results. So that was a very interesting point brought up by Dr. Bharucha. I thought I'll talk about the natural intelligence and the predictive technologies we already have and we are born with. Energy storage and battery technologies is something which is highly emerging, and collaborative robotics is something. These are just a few so that our audience will understand what it is. But there are certain things which we should always be prepared for, and that template is also clear now in terms of analytical thinking. How do you get ready for these New Age careers? You should have analytical thinking, problem identification, and problem solving. Time management, adaptability, you need to adapt to change of capacity for collaboration, as I mentioned. Collaboration is a result of a soft skill. Soft skill training is a very, very important aspect which has to be taught right from the school. And it has got long gestation period. Right? It cannot be taught over a few months or one semester. Good institutions are those which take the responsibility of transforming the student. And when they want to transform the student, the soft skill will be part of the curriculum. It is not a passing phenomenon. Yeah. If it is part of the curriculum, then they will integrate it so well that it is studied as seriously as any other subject and practiced as critical as it is to save your life and career. So that has to be the philosophy for soft skills. Effective written and oral communication is a major requirement. And also digitally and numerically, we should be literate. Now, when you get ready like this, the institutions and the schools and colleges will have to think in tandem with the business changes that are happening. There are sweeping changes that are happening. Now, one point I want to mention here is that the beginning is not NEP. NEP is an enabler. The beginning is the sweeping change that's happening out there in the industry. That is the beginning. If you keep your finger on the pulse of the changing industry or the landscape, then you know what to do at the institutional level. The enabler is NEP. The policy-making body is going to help us and probably mandate, hey, you need to actually start differently. You need to focus differently. Examinations will have to be changed differently. Acceptability of a new norm is being instilled in terms of a policy. So that's an enabler system. But institutions and institutions and schools and colleges, what do? They have prime movers like teachers. Most of us are teachers. And if teachers are not keeping themselves in tandem with the changing business, then again, there is going to be a disconnect. So ultimately, enablers are there, industry is there, requirements are there, and the responsibility comes back to this. But this blame game of, the policy should change first, then I will change. It is valid to some extent, but it is not valid all the time. So this is the overview I would like to give, and then come back with, I have another 3 points, but I'll come back for second round. And I have a few recommendations also. As far as ICFI is concerned, we are constantly innovating with respect to the pedagogy, with respect to treating the students as partners and changing the methodologies and outreach activities to it. For example, I'll just give one example.
Right.
Several institutions have these things, student clubs.
Yeah.
For the sake of it, all of us have student clubs. For the sake of internships, everyone has got internships. But how do you deal with all these things? What is the energy and the focus that you have for harnessing these platforms is extremely important for us. Student clubs one should run for, they should learn leadership, they should volunteer. Some of the NGOs that are around your school, college, and town, you need to go out there and share the concerns and work something for them. I think when they do these things, their skills will go up, their collaborative spaces will go up, their contribution will be recognized. So institutions can actually do that, but they can't again do it as part of some tick boxes for some ranking. It has to be part of their institutional philosophy. It should be their school of thought and it should be their school of action. Mm-hmm. I'll stop here and I'll come back if you have more questions to ask. I have more points to share, but
I'm looking forward to hearing them. So I'm very excited.
Oh yes, I'm going by the comments. One of the comments that I've seen in the chat box is that if the speakers are thoughtful, then the webinars are interesting. So I will stick with that. Because in all the institutions where we teach and learn, the students are not going to follow what you tell them. Actually, they are going to follow what you actually do. So they're going to follow you rather than what you say. In terms of empathy, in terms of ethics, they're going to observe the teachers and the institutions very closely and carefully, so that they get to see them as role models. If they do really good, they are the role models. And if they do bad, they are the bad role models. It's as simple as that. Parents talking certain good things and their worldviews being discussed on dining table will be imparted to the children. Similarly, if the institution behaves in a manner that is not ethical in various practices of admission, academic delivery, placements, placement stories, and the dealing with the industry, I think across all these parameters, there are numerous opportunities for them to fail. There are numerous opportunities to fail, which is when their ethics are tested. which is where the empathy is also tested. These two things will be followed by the students. Either they will have great respect for the institution or they do not have the respect for the institutions. As simple as that. So if you don't manage the time well for this webinar, I have no right to tell them that time management is a very important aspect in the future. As simple as that. I'm going to take that blame because having failed to manage the time, I will take that blame and not anybody else. But 2 to 3 points which I want to mention is that first, entrepreneurship should be made compulsory in our colleges. I propose that entrepreneurship has got two very important parameters. One is a sense of ownership, another one is a sense of risk-taking.
Yeah.
When you establish your own firm with an idea that translates and transforms into an organization, and then you take that accountability, you take that that skill to actually differentiate yourself and be successful. All these things you learn when you do. So you need to encourage the students to establish their own organizations while they are still in the college. So entrepreneurship, I propose it to be made mandatory. They learn multiple things in a short span of time, and the institutions will be tested there. Their leadership will be tested, whether they have these incubation centers and whether they're going to invest in their own students. If they are not going to invest in their own students, how do they expect the venture capitalists out there to actually trust them? And one step back, if the parents are not going to invest in their own children in terms of any new ideas that they've come up with, how do they expect the world out there to put money into these business ideas? So we all tested at different levels. So make entrepreneurship compulsory at the college level. The second point I want to talk about is it this is another question in the chat box. I'm trying to connect with them so that I partially undo the blame of using more time. So what's happening is underemployment the issue or the emerging gig economy the issue? I think it is two sides of the same coin. Underemployment is something you're not being able to have gainful employment for a longer time, but employment for a shorter period of time is the other word for gig economy. And that's where short projects and multiple projects will come your way. And I think we should be ready for that. That's my response to them. The third point is we need to when we allowed those liberal arts students with various backgrounds into the classroom, we had a great diversity. The classroom is a microcosm of the society, and therefore, when they graduate and go into workplaces, they will see greater diversity, and they should know that uniformity is like straitjacketing and conditioning, whereas diversity is something that you are opening up and expecting the unexpected. I think that's how we need to prepare these kids and the future leaders for this country. So they need to also be encouraged on double careers. You have a career by the day, it's called day career, and then you should have something else which is very closely on your passion. For example, you can be just to say, you can be a doctor by the day and an actor by the night. Example I'm just giving. But then you can actually be a digital marketing expert during the day, and you can be a professional photographer who will accept commercial jobs and actually pursue those jobs and earn money. Students are going to pursue these careers if the careers are A, exciting enough, B, they are remunerative or beneficial, in the sense that beneficial through money or in terms of some kind of learning or earning, so to say.
Yeah.
So if you're going to send rockets into the sky, that's called excitement. Or if you're going to do something greater to the planet Earth, it is excitement. If you're going to bring about some change which you can see yourself through social entrepreneurship, it is going to be great. So that is meaningful. So the meaning should be in terms of learning or earning, and then there should be excitement as well. Then they will pursue these careers, but encourage them to bring along with them the softer side, that is their passion, their hobby, converted into a career. And we should encourage, all the organizations and industry should encourage people to have double careers. People should have one minor and major, like the way we study in the schools and colleges. We should have a major career and a minor career. I think that is a very, very important thing. One last thought before I close my remarks is that several careers we listed in the beginning of my talk, and one more is coming up, and it is called Chief of Viral Campaigns. There are several viral campaigns that have been actually taken up in the world, and viral campaigns don't happen if you wish it to be viral. Viral campaigns also are a stroke of luck sometimes, but 90% there is a great deal of hard work. The anatomy of viral campaigns, if you study, you will get lots of lessons. And then most of these viral campaigns are based on some social good, societal good, social good, benefit for the large number of people. So even if you fail in making it viral campaigns, you will end up doing a greater good for organizations, people, and society at large. And then you will bring together multiple skills, multifunctional requirements to make this viral campaign. And this should be a vertical, this should be a functional area. And this is an emerging new age career that I propose. And I'm sure it is emerging. And I wish people think about it, open their minds. And we in webinars should talk more about such things. And next time onwards, we will be more thoughtful if we have not measured up to your expectations. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
After listening to all of you, I'm really hopeful because I know your institutes are going to take us forward. Thank you so much for an absolutely amazing session. I have learned so much and for your great insights and thoughts. I am so happy and so glad that I was able to moderate this. I think all our participants learned a great deal. And I firmly believe that I quit corporate because I wanted to go from the school level up is where you teach employability in my books. And that's what the aim is. So by the time they get to college, they're not worried about how to think. They're actually already doing it. And thank you. More power to all of you. May your tribe grow and may you take forward all the new things that you are doing. Thank you so much. I hope to be able to interact with all of you again. Thank you so much, participants, for all your insights and the questions that you've been asking. I will see you all tomorrow, and I will hopefully answer some of the questions that you've asked that we've missed today. And thank you, Sarah, very much. Thank you, everyone. Have a very good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.